Yes, welcome everyone to our May meeting. We're up to 28 participants here tonight. We have 60 members now. We have two new club members, Thomas Skirto Davis, who I saw on the line here. He's from Downingtown, and Jerry Snelson from Frostburg, Maryland. So it's good to see new faces and see new people joining the club, and hopefully we can see some examples of stuff you're turning. We got a pretty full meeting tonight with a bunch of different topics. Just to move things along, Barry, is there a secretary's report?
As you know, we've just been posting videos of the meetings, and I think Dave Shell's been taping them and breaking it down into the business portion. And so all we have to do is get a vote of acceptance of the minutes. The business portion of the YouTube file constitutes now our minutes until we get back to meeting face to face. So if anybody has any questions, or can we have acceptance of the minutes from last month?
I move we accept the minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Any objections?
Aye.
Objection.
Aye.
All right. So moved. I have the treasurer's report for John, who couldn't be here this evening. As of May 1st, we have a bank balance of $3,822.65, $80 in petty cash for a subtotal of $3902.65. We do have a few outstanding checks, $20 for the AAW insurance, $200 for the AAW insurance, a check to Mike Junkarth for picking up our TV for the hybrid meeting location at $849.99, and a check to John Kelsey for wireless microphones for $191.85. That brings our total for our treasury to $2,660.81. Part of that, I guess I'll get into the discussion of hybrid meeting space in a little bit, but I just want to mention that our member Tom White gave us a donation of $500 towards our hybrid meeting space and our digital effort to continue to be able to broadcast for everyone and set up the equipment there. So that has really
Thank you,
helped.
Tom.
Thank you, Tom.
Yes, so thank you very
Thank
much,
you.
Tom. Huge thanks to him. That really goes a long way to helping continue our digital hybrid meeting space.
We're going to make a plaque for the television stand and television, the Memorial Tom White. Well, maybe not memorial, because you're still going to be with us. But.
Don't surprise Tom there yet.
Okay.
Just make,
Hey, Matt, I think we're going to talk a bit about that space in a bit, but
Yes.
I'd like to make sure we put a few minutes into that, because really those of us that were there the other day, I think there's some stuff we could say about it.
Yeah, that's coming up just next. Do we need a motion to accept the treasurer's report?
No.
Okay.
No.
Then we're on to our digital committee report and hybrid meeting space. As everyone here may know or may not know, we had a budget of $2,100 approved in April, plus the gift from Tom brings it up to $2,600. Our expenditures to date, including an estimate on the electric for the extra outlets and running the networking cables, came in at $2630.82. So we are only $30.82 over budget. So that puts us in really good shape. We don't really need that much more equipment. It may be incidentals, but that'll come with testing. Last Saturday, we brought in and set up the TV picked up by Mike. Thanks again, Mike, for picking that up for us. And the stand and base. The base was assembled built by Barry. It's a beautiful plywood base for us to hold the TV screen. And he also put together the safety screen that we can have in front of the lathe. We have some next steps to be running a test run of the space, hopefully later this month. They marked out for the electric and the network cables for the electrician. So hopefully later this month, that'll get fixed up And then, ongoing, and at some point in May, we'll do a test run to see how things work. Anyone have anything to add from our hybrid meeting space? Mike?
Yeah, what I'd like to do is just to give you guys a verbal visual, if you will. This is a space that is on the second floor of Ben Kaufman's cabinetry manufacturing facility, which is just an outstandingly beautiful facility in itself. It has a retail space in the front, absolutely first class all the way through. There's office space, break rooms, conference rooms, and on the second floor was a space that we were given permission to use here for the near term. Certainly, Ben, if something else comes up, and you guys explode and need that space, we'll be flexible and do what needs to be done. But to give you an idea, it's an L shape that I'm not going to ask you to see this in detail, so I'll point it out. But I measured the space, and it is 80 feet long on the long leg of the L, 53 feet on the bottom of the L. This is 20 feet thick, another 20 feet thick over here. And this is a little bit of a utility room space where the power and network comes through. But the bottom line to this is we're talking about a tremendous amount of resource space. Primarily in this space is where we're going to be setting up with chairs. We're going to have, I didn't sketch it in here, but I can tell you that what we'll have is the kind of the controller's table or desk, which will have a computer that will control all the video, that'll control the sound. Doug, we got your boom over there. That's set up and ready to plug in. So we have one of the booms that allow flexible camera movement to come in over the lathe and get very good close-up shots. The television I picked up is a 75-inch Samsung that I ran down to Delaware to get to save sending money to our governor here in Harrisburg. But the bottom line to it is, as Matthew and I can attest, what would you think that thing weighed? About 80 pounds? Something, 90 pounds?
Yeah, maybe about that, yeah.
Something like that. So it's a heavy piece of equipment. And happy to say that Barry, in his typical overbuilding of quality, my first thought when Matthew and I also carried this cabinet up was, did you take the 160 pounds of salt out of the bottom of this thing first? Because it is a heavy, heavy, solidly built piece of equipment that then the television mount bolted onto, television mounted in the typical fashion as you would to your wall. And it gives us the flexibility of moving that around. And it's just a terrific piece of equipment right now. It really is. So I applaud everybody's contributions to that so far. And we've got a little bit of work to do to kind of make it set. But the good news is, for those that might be concerned, there's so much space in the demonstration area that, what do you think we were thinking? You could probably put 20 to 25 people in that space and still have respectable social distance.
Right.
There's a lot of room.
The
Yeah.
TV in particular can be viewed from a pretty wide angle. And even though it's kind of like going to a concert nowadays, if you're sitting far enough away that you really can't see the operator at the machine or a close up on what he's doing, you can see it on the 75-inch TV in great detail. You're seeing what the home viewers would see. So
Yeah, it is a 4K setup. So the detail, for those of us remembering what we had, which was still pretty decent over at Stevens, but it tended to sometimes be a little less, less than 4K. This is going to be a very, very clear picture. And anyone zooming in is going to have a great picture as well.
So when are we planning to have a meeting that has that actually uses a hybrid meeting? Is there a time frame for that?
Our goal is for the July monthly meeting.
Okay.
Judy, the ventilation there is outstanding. The ceilings, Ben, I can't remember the height of the ceilings, but the ceilings are very high and there's a lot of ventilation in that space as well.
I would say they're probably 14 foot, 12, 14 foot.
Yeah. Yeah. the HVA system is very, very robust. So, I mean, it's a delightful resource. It really is. I'm looking forward to any of you that are within reasonable distance to be able to come in and see it, because Ben's generosity in this place is fantastic. It
And-
almost kind of reminds me of what we had at Stevens without all the other equipment in there, the electronics and the metalworking, the foundry and such. It's a large space.
Does 7 minutes away count?
Yeah, you can ride your bike. Okay.
I don't have a bike.
And
You have
it
to
is,
push it up the steps first.
yeah, that building is open every day. Well, Monday through Fridays from 7 to 5. If anybody wants to stop in during the day.
Very kind.
Thanks, Ben.
We
And-
talked about doing a test run on maybe on a Saturday that, sort of an informal, I don't know, we jokingly called it a show and tell Saturday, just to test out the system and the bugs and have people tune in from home and people there in person. And then we can see how things work and where the lighting's best and the sound is best. So it's going to take a little bit of work to figure that out, but we'll probably look for an email about a test run coming up.
Thank
I
you.
think we'd probably be close to being, we could be ready for that. We could run a cord for the, if electric isn't finished, and run a network cable
Hmm.
that we could do it, now. If we-
Soon.
Are you guys using a Black Magic with multiple camera setup? Is that what you're doing?
We're actually going to be using what John has become quite familiar with. It's just Zoom's mixing, and using Zoom to control what we'll have is we have 2 primary cameras with the option of a third. And our goal has been to, not to dumb down the system, but to build a system that, if somebody who is typically the AV guy can't show up, someone else will be able to pick up. And it's really
I saw the space. It's lovely. I wonder if it needs one of those giant parabolic mirrors that you put when you have the long driveway and you want to see the other cars coming, for when there's so many people you need to be around the corner,
Good idea. That's great. Do I see some nice Downingtown walnut behind you there? Is that what we're looking at?
Yeah, unfortunately, there's no walnut back there. It'd be down by now. No,
Okay.
You got to go to Bryn Mawr to see a bunch of walnut.
Or come out to Lancaster.
Yeah, well, I not to monopolize the meeting, but one of the reasons I was excited about joining is you guys, this new space is much closer to me, right? Being
Okay.
just around the corner from Honeybrook than
Oh, excellent.
I was thinking Lancaster, that's, 45 minutes, an hour on a bad day, but this is just 15 minutes up the road. So I could ride my bike.
Oh, cool.
Welcome.
and bring
Thanks for reaching out.
And bring the wood at the same time?
Yeah, exactly. Big basket in back.
There you go.
Well, we do appreciate the space, so it's coming along quite well.
We're also planning on storing the library, the books we have there as well. I don't know if that had been mentioned earlier. Barry had mentioned bookcases, and that's what we were talking about storing there.
You guys have one of Rick Baker's big booms. Is that what you're working the overhead with?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we
nice.
we made one. It might need a little bit of repair, but to work really perfectly. But it's yeah, that's what we made one like a number of years ago.
Doug, it
I
seemed
made
to
it.
have its flexibility. John and I were working it through pretty well. The things we might be changing, it's got the Toslink
Yeah.
video on it. We're going to put in the mini HDMI, but those are simple little Velcro switches. So
The thing that the problem that I had was the counterbalance on it was not right for the camera. So
okay.
so it's a matter of that. But it really works very well for zooming in and out very closely. So yes, that's what we've got there.
Good one.
Doug, did you have the coffee hour report?
Yeah, John asked me to report on it. I guess I think it was during week 53 or 54. A bunch of you guys have been regular attenders, and in fact, thanks to the coffee hour, that's how you've ended up becoming members. So this should be no news to most of you, but it's been really wonderful. this month we had David Ellsworth as a guest joined us for the hour, and we had a really excellent discussion. Even without guests, the discussions have been very good and very rewarding in my mind. The posts have been done. John has been posting the hours on YouTube, and he's also been posting a link on the AAW forum. And we had like 150 hits on the AAW forum for the Ellsworth and his hour. So it's been very good. What can I say? Going forward, we're going to plan on still trying to see if we can get some sort of special event or special guest once a month to add to the interest of our group. I don't, one of the things I had proposed is perhaps getting Ernie and some other of the founding members of the AAW together just for discussion on how that whole thing started out. So, but if you have any guests or people that you'd like to see us invite, let us know and we'll see what we can do.
Hey, Doug, if I could just add, all of those links are posted on our website, lancasterarea.org. And we do have a contact us page out there as well. So if you have an area that you'd like to see, go ahead and bounce us a note. And part of that has come through and been very helpful to us to evolve the site. But we encourage some of you folks that are newer to the process here to go out and dig through the site. If you have a certain lathe and you got some resource or you got some thoughts that say, hey, I'd like to get a manual posted out there. We try to post all of our members owner's manuals for their lathes or their chucks or their sharpening jigs or you name it. So just leave us a note and we'll make sure it's put out there. We want to use this as a resource for us.
Thanks, Mike.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much all I have on that subject there, Matt.
Okay. Any other?
Matt, before we move on, I'd like to take advantage of the fact that John Kelsey is not he's not on the meeting tonight. He had pretty serious surgery this morning, and his wife has been texting me. He's in his room now. I was surprised I didn't see him here on the participants list. But I think it would be, he's really been our shepherd for this past year. He guided us through this whole time with grabbing the bull by the horns and getting us on Zoom and organizing it. And I think it'd be a nice gesture if anybody thinks of it to just send him an email. Get well soon. He should be coming out of the hospital in a day or two. He had some cancer surgery, and his wife said it's looking good. And so just if you want to think about him and just pay a little tribute to him with get well soon.
Where's he at?
I thought
Barry, where is he at?
LGH.
LGH?
He's downtown at the main health at the hospital.
Is
I
he,
don't know his room number, and he'll be coming out of there pretty soon.
Yeah, he kind of said that visitation is not something that
he
they're
particularly,
looking to offer for not only COVID, but other reasons
yeah, okay,
because of the short stay. So
okay.
I'll
Well,
post something out on the web as well. Not too personal, but something that touches on it.
Got it.
Thanks, Barry.
Okay.
Any other reports for the website or anything from the digital domain?
I just wanted to thank Barry for posting the Rose Engine ornamental lathe thing today or yesterday. It was fascinating, and thank you, because it was a waste of about 4 hours today when I went down that rabbit hole and looked for every Rose Engine machine lathe turning video on YouTube that I could find today. So really fascinating stuff. It was cool to see. So thank you.
Wait till you step into Ray's world. Talk about fascinating. Just be careful. Leave your checkbook and credit cards at home.
if there isn't any other digital news, on to the next item. The annual picnic. Now that sort of COVID is working its way out, we were talking about the possibility of having our June 1st meeting be our annual picnic at Petersburg Park. And we might be able to broadcast from there as it's, if we can get a stable enough internet signal. But just want to open that up to discussion, see how folks felt. I know with the big push of going with the hybrid meetings and having people on Zoom, we were wondering, is it just one night to take a break and go back to meeting in person as an informal meeting at our for our annual picnic, having our cookout, and see what folks thought of that, if anyone had opinions or.
Well, I'm gonna just jump in and say, whereas I really like the idea of the annual picnic, just looking at the number of people on the video here that aren't within driving range of our annual picnic,
Right.
would it be worthwhile to have the picnic for the local guys and still have a regular meeting? In other words, not make the annual picnic one of our regular meetings?
I think that's a great idea, Doug.
Yeah.
I think it's
I mean-
terrific. Some of the feedback we did get in the past for the local members was that at the picnic, we tended to not really discuss the
Yeah.
subject at hand, the purpose of our club. So I think that's not a bad idea at all. I guess we have to figure out, why don't we talk about the logistics of that offline, because I believe Barry has reserved a space during the meeting time.
At this point, I believe I can change the date. It might be hard to get a Saturday or a weekend date this close, but
I don't mind.
What's that, Doug?
I don't really care if it's an evening, even during the week, if some other day other than a Tuesday evening. But I'm just saying, Barry, that it would be nice to keep our Tuesday night meeting going for them as we have planned. Now that we're becoming more a broader base club.
I concur.
Well, do we want to have a show of hands for who wants to have it on an alternate night? Yeah, I really would like to know as soon as possible, just so I can change the reservation or cancel the reservation, which I can do up to 2 weeks.
Alternate night.
What are you asking for? Alternate night?
Yes, if we're having our annual picnic on a non-club meeting night.
Yes.
Up for that. That's a good observation, Doug. We haven't talked about that the other day.
And
You got it recorded, Dave?
yeah, seems to be a good majority there.
Okay,
Okay, so we'll go with our June 1st meeting to be our typical Zoom meeting. And we'll be able to give more of an update on the hybrid space. And hopefully that'll lead us to having our first true hybrid meeting for our July
Cool.
get together.
Cool.
When we figure out a date that works for folks to have the alternate picnic, we'll keep everyone posted.
Thank you.
But just another thought, I'm going to need somebody to demo in that if we have that June meeting, because we kind of pushed back on that because we were going to have the picnic. So if anybody wants to volunteer to do something, we'll be happy.
I'm sorry.
We need a demonstrator for the June meeting.
Oh, I see.
If anyone has any topics, to reach out to Ben or any one of us, really.
Okay.
An executive.
One of the thoughts I might ask for some of the folks that are joining, if they, not for demos, but to come and maybe talk a 5-minute per club, how their club has fared the last year and what they do, and what things were like before and what they look like to become after. Because I think part of that can tie into that discussion that came on to the group, and I don't know if that's going to be an agenda item tonight, about the AAW forum. But the idea of understanding how other clubs operate, that could be something that could be discussed as an agenda item in June. We don't want to put anybody in the spot who's not comfortable, but at the same time, it's just, hey, what have you guys done, and what works, what doesn't?
Ben, if you need a, it's not really a wood turning topic, but it's related to wood turning. That is the video that John shot. He's going to edit it some more with setting up a bandsaw for resawing. For resawing and cutting off logs or whatever, but to true up the table, the blade, the rip fence and all that.
No, that absolutely is part of a wood turning. So yeah, that would, yeah, I'd be interested in seeing that, even though I think you have it on YouTube, but
It's a second part, yeah, the second part that they're editing.
Now, John wanted to shoot some more video and do a re-edit on it. There was some stuff he wasn't happy with, so.
well, would we want to do that? Could we count on that for the June meeting?
Why don't we
You can count
pencil,
on it. I don't know that it would, I doubt it would run more than, 20 minutes, but if you wanted a filler, I'd be happy to, well, it's already been recorded, but I could talk over it, whatever.
Yeah,
So if nobody else comes forward, you have that.
right.